You didn't fall behind. You disappeared on purpose, and now they're confused. Because the version of you they understood doesn't exist anymore. Pause. Let that sink in. They thought you were spiraling. They thought you were isolating. They thought you were going through something. You were, but not what they thought. You were shedding. See, average minds panic when they don't see progress, but strategic minds, they go silent, because silence is where recalibration happens. You weren't lost. You were analyzing. You weren't emotional. You were observing. You weren't unstable. You were restructuring your entire life in private. And they couldn't read it. That's why they misjudged it. Let's tell the truth. When you stopped explaining yourself, they got uncomfortable. When you stopped reacting, they got louder. When you stopped attending, they started speculating, because your absence exposed how dependent they were on your predictability. You broke the pattern. And people panic when patterns break. There's something powerful about being underestimated. It gives you time. Time to fail quietly. Time to experiment. Time to refine. Nobody interrupts you when they think you're irrelevant. That's the advantage. You weren't trying to prove anything. You were building something. Here's what they missed. You weren't confused. You were collecting data. Every betrayal, data. Every awkward room, data. Every failed attempt, data. You weren't reacting emotionally. You were mapping the terrain. And while they were gossiping about your downfall, you were studying the architecture of your comeback. Know this, transformation doesn't look impressive in real time. It looks like isolation. It looks like inconsistency. It looks like withdrawal. But caterpillars don't look successful inside the cocoon. They look inactive until they're not. They thought you were shrinking. You were compressing. Pressure creates precision. You cut distractions. You cut access. You cut noise. And they mistook your boundaries for bitterness. No, you were protecting momentum. Let's go deeper. You stopped arguing, not because you had no defense, but because you realized convincing people who benefit from misunderstanding you is a waste of strategic energy. That's maturity. That's evolution. That's power under control. And now they're watching, quietly. Because something shifted. You speak less, but when you do, it lands. You move slower, but it's intentional. You don't react. You calculate. That unsettles people. Because chaos is easy to read. Precision is not. Here's the part no one talks about. When you upgrade internally, the old version of you dies socially. Some people don't miss you. They miss access to the old you, the over-explaining you, the available you, the emotionally reactive you. But that version retired. And you didn't announce it. You just became it. That's why they're confused now. They thought you were breaking, but you were breaking patterns. They thought you were losing direction, but you were eliminating distractions. They thought you were unstable, but you were detaching from what no longer aligned. Big difference. Hear me clearly. The strongest moves in life don't look strong at first. They look lonely. They look risky. They look misunderstood. But the moment results appear, the narrative changes. Suddenly you're disciplined. Suddenly you're focused. Suddenly you're brilliant. No, you were always strategic. They just needed proof to feel comfortable. And here's the secret. You stopped needing their validation before you had visible success. That's when the shift happened. When your self-trust got louder than their doubt. That's the real glow up. Not money, not status, not applause, clarity. You realize something dangerous. Energy is currency. Attention is leverage. Silence is armor. And timing? Timing is everything. You didn't disappear because you were weak. You disappeared because you were recalibrating your aim. There's a difference. The people who laughed early will analyze later. The ones who doubted quietly will respect loudly. And the ones who misunderstood you, they'll rewrite history to say they always knew. Let them. You're not building for applause. You're building for alignment. Here's what makes this powerful. You didn't rush. You didn't over-explain. You didn't defend every rumor. You trusted process over perception. And perception eventually caught up. It always does. If this resonates, it's because you know. You felt it, that silent shift, that internal click where you stopped chasing and started choosing. That's not madness. That's mastery forming. Remember this. When the world can't categorize you, it labels you unstable. When it can't predict you, it calls you inconsistent. When it can't control you, it calls you difficult. But when it finally understands you, it calls you brilliant. Nothing changed but the outcome. So if you're in the quiet phase right now, stay there. If they think you're losing, let them. If they think you're confused, let them. Strategic growth is invisible until it isn't. And when it becomes visible, you won't need to explain a thing, because the same people who question your silence will study your discipline. The same ones who doubted your direction will analyze your execution, and the same ones who called it madness will call it genius. You didn't fall behind, you repositioned. And the best part, you're still not done. If this hit you at the right time, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Keep rising.